Welcome to Overwatch This. This is Jeff from the Overwatch team. Let's have fun today.
Hello YouTube, and welcome to yet another episode of Overwatch This. We're on to episode 36?
36,
36. Yeah. Ben Barrett here sitting in the host seat for the, I don't know, third time, fourth time. Joined by Mr. Matt Purslow.
Hi.
As you're probably aware, patch 1.12 has come out this week. There's also some interesting Twitch stuff that we're going to talk about, but we'll kick off with the patch itself. So Matt, patch 1.12, new map, new kind of low gravity effect that you can put on everything. You played a little bit of it today, I think.
Yeah. Just before I came in, I played Horizon, which is the first time because I didn't check it out on the PTR.
Right.
First impressions, I obviously haven't taken a lot about the strategic kind of elements to it and sort of figured out what my paths will be. I think it's quite a nicely designed map. I think it's got a lot of personality. Yeah. Obviously, knowing about Horizon from the Recall short, was it? It was
in there. Yeah, I mean, Jesus, that must be like a year and a half ago now.
But yeah, you kind of sort of like, I think they do very well at tying the maps into the cinematics, and I think arguably it's the other way this time. It's the map has been sort of like influenced by a previous cinematic, and it's kind of nice to go through the different kind of lab areas. Point A is based on clearly the kind of jungle gym sort of area for where the little monkeys used to hang out. There's a rock climbing bit.
There's lots to explore there as well. You know, like Winston's bedrooms there.
Yes,
There's lots of kind of little bits of lore.
Jars of peanut butter.
Yes, as is needed. Also with the patch, there was a few like handy little features. One that I saw was you can now like open up the social menu when you're in game, which you could do anyway. But if you mouse over people, it'll show you like their most played heroes and stuff, which I expect will probably be quite useful. I mean, I can imagine that being useful and competitive. Like that's something you should do.
It's essentially
whenever you load in,
it's
see,
he
plays
information, isn't it? Yeah.
So not, there isn't a ton of new stuff there. We have spoken about a lot of it before. New Roadhog as well, new Reaper as well. I'm going to be interested to see, kind of how those play out over the next week. Horizon is going to be in competitive this week. There was a series of posts. I think it was over the past like 48 hours or so, where one of the Blizzard guys was like, "Oh yeah, we're going to disable it. Don't worry about it." And then apparently he was quite literally tackled when he came into the office because that wasn't true. That is something they want to do.
Yeah,
I think it's the right play, right?
Yeah, I think so.
You don't want to have people just jumping into competitive and not knowing a new map. So that will be the case with future maps, but it isn't the case on this one. So we do at least, we'll get to see how Roadhog is in competitive now without the kind of one shot, but with the more reliable medium range stuff. We'll get to see how Reaper does with his his health sucking.
Yeah, I might actually be able to use him this time.
Yeah, I definitely want to give him a shot actually, because I quite like playing him, but I always found him very fragile.
Yeah,
I mean, get good, I suppose, but it will be nice to try him that way. The other thing about this, of course, is this means we should have another patch.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Eventually.
Soon.
Well, what's going to be in that then?
Well, who knows? So 1.13, will be the next patch. It should hit, as things have gone in the past, it should hit PTR as early as this week, probably more likely next week at the latest, I would say the week after that. We should also have another event coming up. Now, Summer Games started on August 2nd last year, but that was obviously after quite a lot of updates happened to the game between what would have been the anniversary event, but actually it was the launch, obviously, because they added competitive during that time. I think they did some stuff with the arcade before that. They didn't actually put in the arcade, but they had kind of
it was the
different
brawl
modes.
Kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think that I can't remember if that was on launch or not, but so we had all of those updates between the two last time. This time, presumably, they don't have that scale of thing to add. So exactly what 1.13 will be is up in the air. What it could be is a new hero.
Yes.
They didn't show up at all.
Not at all, no.
During the anniversary or anything like that.
Everyone was ready for it as well. Like, the community was sort of almost convinced.
Yeah, I was positive it would be that. I mean, people seem to be quite happy, because, the worry was that people were expecting a new hero, people wanted a new hero, the meta was maybe getting a bit stale, but people seemed quite happy with, the number of changes and the new map and so on. So I would expect that to be in 1.13 as well, which means there will be, there'll be some kind of reveal thing. A large kind of event or like an ARG or whatever. I doubt it'll last very long.
Yeah, it'll also be interesting to see. So like now we're coming into sort of year 2 on Blizzard. willing to repeat anything from previous years. So will we get kind of Summer Games version 2? Will we get Halloween version 2?
I think they've said yes, we will definitely do all of the events again, but that is certainly the implication and the plan. I'm interested to see how they change them, of course, as well.
Absolutely.
I think Lucio Ball was brilliant. I hope they've
One of
done
the best
some
they've
developments
done,
on that. I've been expecting Lucio Ball to make a return and be playable every week.
Pretty much every patch.
I've been like, I'm sure this one they'll add it back in. They haven't done quite a good job of just. I mean, I haven't really teased it, but not letting the memory of it build up, and so when it comes back, it'd be really great. I hope maybe there'll be some new maps or something with that. That'd be good. So that's kind of what's coming up in the future. What's also happened this week, and we'll talk about next, is a bunch of stuff to do with Twitch. What's also happened this week is the introduction of Twitch Prime rewards. Now, this is an extension of Amazon Prime, which you have.
Yes, I do.
So, just to kind of lay everything out, what do you get with Amazon Prime?
Right, so Amazon Prime, it means that you can be a first-class Amazon citizen, basically.
Well, I mean, I always feel that way.
Yeah. So essentially, it's just like the main sort of thing is that you get next-day delivery. It's certainly in the UK. I think in the US, it may be a bit longer because of the landmass things have to cover.
Yeah.
You also get access to Prime Video, which is where stuff like American Gods is on, and sort of like big things like that. And there are kind of other things. There's a music service, a bit like Spotify.
Sure, there's like a lot of stuff, some of which you use, some of which you don't.
Book libraries and stuff like that. It's quite a comprehensive service, but now it's extending into games because Amazon...
so they introduced Twitch Prime like a couple of months after they bought Twitch. I think it's been going for like 6 or 8 months now. And basically, if you use Twitch, it's basically a no-brainer to have it. Like if you use Twitch and you subscribe to people, because you pay like as much as a subscription, and you get to put that subscription towards someone that you want to subscribe to. You get like a free subscription with Twitch Prime. Plus, you get like a bunch of free stuff for different games. You get no ads, which is brilliant because they have about 4 ads on their rotation. And if you're watching, for example, a weekend-long Magic the Gathering tournament, you get really sick of one 30-second American Gods ad. Let me tell you. So what it is this time is they're doing an Overwatch one. Now, there's 10 free loot boxes, that's right.
Yep.
But they're not coming until next month and the month after.
That's right,
No, in fact, no, sorry, it's August and October.
Yeah,
so,
and they come in batches of 5, don't they?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So you'll get 5 in August and 5 in October if you're still subbed at the time. And there's also this golden loot box.
Yeah, which we can get
you
now.
have opened.
Yes, I have.
What was in it?
Right, so I got... the most important thing is because it's a golden loot box, it comes with a guaranteed legendary.
Yeah.
So I got the Rain Dancer Farah skin.
Very reasonable.
Yeah, I don't play Farah that much. She's kind of like 5th, 6th most plays. But I got Anubis before, which is a lovely skin, but it's nice
Anubis
to have.
is very good, yes.
Yeah, it's nice to have one off the legendaries.
Did you also get a rare?
I didn't know. No.
Okay.
So I then got an icon, a player icon, which is actually the golden loot box icon. I'm going to guess. I know also my housemate has got one which had a box, and that also had that icon in it. So I am wondering if everybody gets that icon in this box.
It is only from the base set,
Yes.
so that is, all the skins that have been in the game since it came out, plus some of the weird stuff they've added. So you've got the 2 really nice Reinhardt skins.
Yes.
Officer Diva and Oni Genji,
Genji,
which they added, like a couple of weeks ago now?
Yeah,
when they said
maybe,
I think it was either in this patch or in the previous patch. There's kind of some rumours of it being a no duplicate loot box.
So I had no duplicates at all in my box, and my housemate had no duplicates as well.
and as far as everyone I know that's opened one didn't have any duplicates. Now, I have seen a GIF of somebody opening one and they got a duplicate.
Right.
But, and this is where it gets a
but.
bit strange, so the only duplicates I've seen are Officer Diva.
Oh,
so what I'm thinking is, now of course they won't have opened an Officer Diva in a loot box before.
Sure.
They will have got it through the Heroes of the Storm promotion. And what it might be is there might be a bug, basically, so it's meant to be no duplicate.
Yeah.
But there's a bug in Blizzard's code or whatever where what it's doing is it's checking what have you opened in a loot box before. Not, because that is, or that is one of the only ways to get skins. There's that and there's buying them. And it's possible that those systems are joined, but kind of getting it from the outside isn't, or it's just a specific bug with that. But the number of people saying they got no dupes is statistically significant, I think. It could just be, people being like, oh, it's golden, and I didn't get a dupe, so the whole box must be no dupes.
Sure.
But that is an interesting thing. Now, what I think is weird is the way this is being offered and the time that it's being offered at.
Why?
So,
Why, Ben? Tell me, why is it weird?
So this is something the community really wants. They've always wanted like loot boxes that were a little more guaranteed to get them something they actually want, rather than the Matt Purslow Classic, which is three sprays and an icon,
line.
voice line. And it's also using new technology that people really wanted, if this new duplicate thing is true, or if it's, you know, got a lower duplicate chance or something like that. Like, basically, the three things people want is they want a way to guarantee legendaries, or like they want larger loot box rewards, they want less duplicates, and they want more skins for characters that they have. Now, this definitely doesn't have any kind of character weighting code in it.
No.
Or if it does, it's as light as it is anywhere else, because, I mean, you got a... No, you got skins,
Farah,
which you play a little bit, right?
Occasionally, yeah, but like I have no skins for Mercy yet, despite she's my second most played.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Kieran, our behind the camera guy, he got a Mercy skin. He barely ever plays her, and you know doesn't want to play her and all that sort of thing. So there definitely is no character weighting in this. But for something that people have wanted for a very long time, it is very not Overwatch for it to be offered through this paid scheme with an outside service that. Basically, I'm just surprised people aren't more angry, and it's not something that I'm going to get particularly angry about because I have other things to worry about. I want to go to the gym, you know, I don't have enough money to do all the things I want to do. But it just surprises me that the ever frustrated internet isn't blowing up.
Maybe they're just charmed for the first kind of day that this is appeared.
Yeah, maybe all the anger will show up in the next couple of weeks. So part of the reason it's happened is because this is like a larger deal between Twitch and Blizzard, where Twitch now have exclusivity on all of their tournaments, basically. Not just Overwatch either. Hearthstone, Heroes of the Storm, kind of basically all the big official tournaments will be streamed exclusively on Twitch, not via YouTube or Africa or anywhere else. I expect it probably doesn't count certain tournaments in Korea because those are often sponsored by Korean streaming platforms. And it is rather like, I don't know, partnering with Hollywood to make your movie, like. Okay, you're partnered with Twitch, so is everybody. You know, that's basically one of the only ways of doing it. So I expect that's part of the reason that this has happened, and that you know you have to get it through that. But you know, it's where are they going to implement this next? Are they going to implement it somewhere else? You know, where do you think you would want to get these from?
Well, I mean, sort of like YouTube seems to be the key sort of thing, and if sort of like the YouTube gaming platform could sort of like provide sort of thing, everybody's, you know, on YouTube anyway, everyone's got a YouTube account, you could sort of like see that kind of blending maybe, but as I say, sort of like Twitch seems to be, it's the home of games essentially. It's sort of like, and I think kind of as YouTube sort of like reduces in sort of like importance in the gaming sphere, I think kind of like maybe a case of that Blizzard are forward-thinking about where the future of games are, and I think Twitch probably is it. Yeah,
for sure. And yeah, so you know that's the golden loot boxes. I don't know how much I'd pay for one. So in the case of this, it effectively costs you. Well, it costs you nothing if you don't have a Prime account because you can get them for free. I think it's what is it like $7?
So I pay sort of like almost £80 a year for it because I do it in the year. But yeah, I think it's $7.99 maybe for the.
So it must be about $10 a month.
Yeah.
I wouldn't pay $10 for just a legendary loot box.
No.
I feel like they're never going to sell them.
Sure.
But so what people want is like in Heroes, where you get at certain level ranking, milestones, you get, you know, better boxes depending on, you know, basically what hero you're playing and all the rest of it. So I can. People were saying about them being like level 100 rewards, but that seems like a lot.
Yes.
I mean, you know, no matter how much you play Overwatch, you probably like even the highest ranked players that I see are like between like 500 and 1,000. You know, there are people that are ridiculously higher than that. But like, you know, even people that play professionally or play a lot casually. So I could, you know, I can maybe see in like the 25-50 range, but it'd just be interesting to see how they implement it afterwards if it proves to be successful at all.
Sure, yeah.
That's it for this episode of Overwatch This. Thanks very much for joining us. We'll be back next week with whatever's happened with patch 1.12 and hopefully Doomfist or something. If you enjoyed the video, please do give us a like. That's down at the bottom of the video, and the subscribe button is right nearby, so you might as well hit it while you're down there. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.